Parasite, Gu, breeding long vitae path, starting from the love-enamored Gu. By Thousand Lakes True Person. Chapter 171, Teleportation Insect, Airless Grass, and a Conversation with the Pill Master. One day later. At this point, Zhou Sui had studied the Gu Divine Bowl for some time, and he finally found a Gu insect that could potentially save his life in critical moments, the teleportation insect. Undoubtedly, this kind of Gu insect is akin to a space insect, possessing the ability to teleport. It could even carry other individuals with it during teleportation. The more powerful the individual, the greater the teleportation distance. Even 1,000 kilometers, or even 10,000 kilometers, could be crossed with ease. If he could refine a teleportation insect, then even if the formation of the immortal mist sect is breached and a golden core master comes to kill him, he could also rely on the teleportation insect to instantly escape at any scene. Even if the enemy wants to pursue and kill him, it would virtually be impossible. In order to refine a teleportation insect, the most important main ingredient is airless grass, he mused. This is a unique spiritual grass with spatial energy. It is extremely valuable. Even if you have money, you can't buy it. Zhou Sui stroked his chin thoughtfully. When he was in Misty Cloud City, he hardly encountered this kind of spiritual grass, let alone purchase it. That's right, this is the Immortal Mist sect, a golden core sect. There is also Pill Medicine Peak, which has a large collection of spiritual medicine and herbs. Perhaps they may have airless grass. Upon thinking of this, Zhou Sui's eyes brightened and he immediately set off towards Pill Medicine Peak. The distance between Immortal Mist Peak and Pill Medicine Peak wasn't too far, it was merely a journey of a few minutes. Upon hearing of Zhou Sui's arrival, Peak Master of Pill Medicine Peak, Ma Qunjun, came out to welcome him right away. After all, Zhou Sui was the Dao companion of Lang Yuexi, and his status was loftily exalted. Equivalent to a golden core master. If Ma Qunjun offended Zhou Sui, it would equate to offending the sect master of the Immortal Mist sect. Just thinking about the consequences made one shudder. Even if Ma Qunjun was a highly influential Peak Master of Pill Medicine Peak, he wouldn't offend anyone unless absolutely necessary. After all, he was quite an astute person. Fellow Daoist Zhou, may I ask what is the purpose of your visit to Pill Medicine Peak? Ma Qunjun asked, full of curiosity. After all, he had heard that upon Zhou Sui's arrival at the Immortal Mist sect, he had been mostly devoted to cultivation. He rarely left Immortal Mist Peak. Now that he actually took the initiative to leave and head to Pill Medicine Peak, it was certainly unusual. The thing is, does Pill Medicine Peak have any airless grass? I am partnering it with other ingredients for a special pill, and airless grass is necessary, Zhou Sui directly asked, stating his demand. Airless grass? This is an extremely unique spiritual medicine, containing spatial energy. However, pills that utilize airless grass as the primary ingredient are quite rare. It seems that fellow Daoist Zhou must have obtained an ancient recipe. Ma Qunjun smiled while staring at Zhou Sui. He had also heard about Zhou Sui's fame, who was said to be a second-stage alchemist even during his qi cultivation stage. He also reportedly utilized a demon core to create a foundation pill. This was truly a remarkable achievement. Even from among many alchemists in the Immortal Mist sect's Pill Medicine Peak, there were few who could match him. Honestly, he was also quite curious about the alchemical skills of the Dao companion of the sect master. Was he as incredible as the rumors suggested? Haha, it's just a matter of luck. Do you have the spiritual medicine I need? Of course, I don't expect it for free, I am willing to pay for it. Zhou Sui chuckled and directly asked. Well, that is a rather rare spiritual medicine. Even our Pill Medicine Peak doesn't have it. However, even if we don't have it, we can issue a task for other fellow Daoists to help keep an eye out. If we really find the airless grass, we can purchase it immediately. Of course, the airless grass is not cheap, it requires at least 10,000 middle-grade spirit stones. Ma Qunjun looked at Zhou Sui with hesitation. After all, even for a cultivator at the foundation establishment level, 10,000 middle-grade spirit stones are still an enormous number. It wouldn't bankrupt you, but it would definitely cripple your wealth. This is because it is already 10 times more expensive than a foundation pill. This also proves just how precious the airless grass is. 10,000 middle-grade spirit stones? No problem at all. If your Pill Medicine Peak can help find it, I will immediately give you 10,000 middle-grade spirit stones. Hearing this, Zhou Sui immediately felt relieved. A mere 10,000 middle-grade spirit stones, to him, were nothing. This is because he had previously obtained a lot of wealth from the storage bags of several foundation establishment families in the Misty Mountains and also from the Lu family, which made him rich overnight. It is estimated that his current wealth surpasses 100,000 middle-grade spirit stones. This is already a fortune that ordinary foundation establishment cultivators can't even imagine. And compared to a teleportation insect, 10,000 middle-grade spirit stones is really trivial. What? How is this guy so rich? Ma Kyunjun's mouth twitched a little. Seeing Zhou Sui's casual attitude towards money, he felt intense jealousy. A cultivator who just advanced to the initial stage of foundation establishment can actually casually fork out 10,000 middle-grade spirit stones. Even for a second-rank alchemist like him, it would take a considerable amount of time to earn 10,000 middle-grade spirit stones. But this kid could just casually whip it out. This was just too exaggerated. But upon thinking about it, his Dao companion is a Golden Core Master. It can be said that no matter what he buys, the Golden Core Master can foot the bill. Given the speed at which a Golden Core Master makes money, a mere 10,000 middle-grade spirit stones is really nothing. Upon thinking about this, Ma Kyunjun felt even more jealous. Getting in with a female Golden Core cultivator is indeed good. He immediately jumped in class, saving at least tens to hundreds of years of hard cultivation. With the assistance of a Golden Core Master, he wouldn't dare to say that he could advance to Golden Core in the future. But no problem reaching the late stage of foundation establishment at least. Damn, he thinks he's awesome just because he's handsome, acting so extravagantly. At this moment, even though he had deep composure, his face was slightly twisted with jealousy. No matter how superior the spiritual root, no matter how high the comprehension, it's not as good as having good luck. Alright, we at Pill Medicine Peak will take care of this issue. If we find the airless grass, we will definitely inform Dao friend Zhou at the earliest. Ma Kyunjun took a deep breath. Thank you, Dao friend Ma. Hearing this, Zhou Sui was very pleased. It's indeed good to join a big power. If he was only relying on himself, he wouldn't know when he could find the airless grass. But with the power of the Golden Core sect, there would be many cultivators helping me look for it. Who knows how much time this will save? By the way, Dao friend Zhou, I heard you are a second-rank pill master. How about exchanging some alchemy experiences? Ma Kyunjun had a thought, inviting Zhou Sui, wanting to probe the depth of this young man. To see if he is really as amazing as the rumors say. No problem. Zhou Sui nodded. He also wanted to learn something from these experienced second-rank pill masters. After all, no matter how rich the theoretical knowledge is, it needs to be put into practice. These experienced second-order pill masters must have very rich alchemy experience. They could also teach him a thing or two. Chapter 172, The Future Third Stage Pill Master, The Bait Plan of Ghost Demon Sect. Afterwards, Zhou Sui stayed at Pill Medicine Peak, exchanging alchemy knowledge with Ma Kyunjun. It had to be said, the opponent indeed deserved to be a second-stage top-tier pill master. Although his theoretical knowledge was vast, in terms of practical experience, he was still not on par with such an experienced pill master. The exchange benefited him greatly, and he felt his own alchemy knowledge had increased considerably. Of course, in contrast, Ma Kyunjun was even more astounded, utterly dumbfounded. He felt this young man was too extravagant. Even though he was just a loose cultivator, his theoretical knowledge was so rich, it surpassed his own by many times. It was as if he had a complete alchemy heritage, and had cultivated for hundreds of years. When exchanging thoughts with this young man, he felt the other party was like an insurmountable alchemy grandmaster. No matter what he asked, the other party could fluidly answer, resolving each issue effortlessly. In the end, he was just the one posing questions and then receiving answers. It made him feel as if he was a mere alchemy apprentice. Peak Master, is this kid really a loose cultivator? How come his theoretical knowledge is so solid? Where exactly did he learn from? After Zhou Sui left, an elder from the Pill Medicine Peak, who was also present during this alchemy exchange, was truly shocked, dumbfounded. Initially, he had little regard for Zhou Sui, thinking that this mere loose cultivator with a wild upbringing, would not be competent. However, after a few conversations, he understood that he was deeply mistaken. The other party's knowledge was much more extensive than he had imagined. He was just like an alchemy grandmaster who had studied for hundreds of years, mastering various types of knowledge thoroughly. It made him feel slightly ashamed. Of course, he did not know that all of this was due to the merit of the bookworm. The heritage jade records of alchemy from the Immortal Mist sect were basically all consumed by the bookworm. The related knowledge just needed to be summoned by Zhou Sui's thoughts, naturally making his theoretical knowledge very extensive. This simply couldn't be compared to these alchemists. We can only say that this kid definitely has an alchemy heritage, and it might not be worse than our pill medicine peak. No wonder the sect master esteemed this kid. This fellow is not just a man of empty words. Given time, he may really become a third-stage alchemist. The pill medicine peak master, Ma Kyun-jun, remarked. After an exchange, he was thoroughly impressed with Zhou Sui. After all, for alchemists, one was either competent or not. They were practically technical talent. They didn't usually play tricks, generally being straightforward. If the other party truly had the ability, they would not only not be unhappy but would even acknowledge and approve. A third-stage alchemist. Upon hearing this, many elders of the pill medicine peak were taken aback. They hadn't expected peak master Ma Kyun-jun to rate this kid so highly. You must know that currently in the entire Immortal Mist sect, there was not a single third-stage alchemist. Only the Danding faction had a third-stage alchemist, which gave Danding faction a very special status. If this kid could actually become a third-stage alchemist, then even if this kid was not the sect master's Dao partner, his position in the Immortal Mist sect would become crucial and would be recognized by numerous cultivators. After all, for such technical talents, who's to say that they won't need their help in the future? Anyone who wishes to increase their cultivation and break through their limitations will need the assistance of pills. At such times, the presence of an alchemist becomes particularly important. Alright, don't gather here anymore. Publish this kid's task. Let the disciples help him find the airless grass. Ma Kyun-jun said. Yes, Peak Master. The elders of Pill Medicine Peak all nodded their heads. They weren't originally very concerned about this matter, after all, it was just a pretty boy. Although they could give him face in public, after all, he was the sect master's companion, it wasn't necessarily the same in private. Even when dealing with task, they didn't necessarily need to give it their all, dragging their feet could also be an option. But now it was different. If Zhou Sui was to become a third-stage alchemist in the future, then it would be of great benefit to every one of them. They might even get to witness the refining of a third-stage pill within the Immortal Mist sect. There are no secrets in this world. The news of Zhou Sui wanting to acquire airless grass quickly spread, even the spies of the Ghost Demon sect got a whiff of it. The news was promptly reported back to the Ghost Demon sect. After all, this matter had a significant connection to Zhou Sui, making it a top priority event. What? This kid actually has a chance to become a third-stage alchemist? And this is even evaluated by Ma Kyun-jun. Upon hearing this, some elders of the Ghost Demon sect were also taken aback. They did not expect this pretty boy's alchemy talents to be so high, potentially becoming a third-stage alchemist in the future. This was indeed unbelievable. After all, a third-stage alchemist holds a status comparable to a Golden Core Master. They hold a significant status across the entire Immortal Mist Island. The influence of a third-stage alchemist is remarkable. Indeed, this fellow is not as simple as a pretty boy, he actually has such potential. Think thoroughly, and you'll know. Lang Yuexi, being the youngest Golden Core Master, is very promising, extremely smart. How could she be so shallow? Based on her strength, there's no handsome man she can't have. Indeed, maybe she knew about this pretty boy's alchemy talent, so she brought him back to the Immortal Mist sect and had him become an elder of alchemy within the section. Lang Yuexi is truly cunning, absolutely shameless, treating her benefactor like this. She forced herself on him despite knowing that he saved her life. The most hateful thing is, she not only took away someone else's man in front of their wives, but also brought those wives to the Immortal Mist sect. Really has no shame. I heard that those wives cry every day in the mountains, weeping till their faces are full of tears. Isn't it? If I had known earlier that these so-called righteous sects were all debauched, I would have realized that our demonic sects are far better, daring to love and hate. In that case, this man deserves to die even more. We must not let the Immortal Mist sect produce a third-stage alchemist. Otherwise, wouldn't the Immortal Mist sect be able to nurture a large number of Foundation Establishment elders, or even Golden Core Masters in the future? But elder, we have been trying to lure this boy out of the Immortal Mist sect these past few days. The problem is, he stays within the Immortal Mist Peak all the time, we never get to approach him. Right, this boy is always frolicking with his wives on the Immortal Mist Peak all day, has no interest in going down the mountain. Likely he's being sucked dry by that old woman Lang Yuexi, sooner or later. Isn't there a good opportunity now? This boy is looking for airless grass, our sect's treasury contains a stock of airless grass. We can use this spiritual medicine to lure him out. Really? Isn't that too generous to this boy? The airless grass is quite valuable. Foolish, it's just bait. We aren't actually giving him the grass. This time we have to see his death, and we cannot lose the spiritual medicine either. Yes, Elder. Many cultivators of the ghost demon sect were discussing among themselves. With some quick words, they quickly formulated a plan to assassinate Zhou Sui, planning to use the airless grass to lure Zhou Sui out of the immortal mist sect and assassinate him outside. Chapter 173, A Fairy-like Life, News on the Airless Grass. A week later, inside the Palace of Immortal Mist Peak. Apparently, Ji Binjiu and the others had truly ascended to the Foundation Establishment realm, thus, the dual cultivation had improved on multiple levels. Their advancements in the 100 arts of cultivation had also contributed to his improvement in some ways. This was like having his Tao companions assisting in his cultivation. Good. Zhou Sui contentedly got up from the bed. Looking at the 4 beautiful Tao companions who were still fast asleep, he felt extremely comfortable. He felt as if he was living in paradise. He had beautiful wives by his side, controlled a huge power, and could manipulate a multitude of people. In a sense, he was almost like an emperor. No wonder even a golden core master or a nascent soul ancestor would want to establish such a huge power. After all, you can't possibly gather all the resources for cultivation by yourself. If you had a force to assist you, you wouldn't know how much trouble you could save. All you would need to do is diligently comprehend and elevate your own cultivation, which would be enough. It's a pity that the airless grass hasn't been found. Zhou Sui felt a bit regretful. He had published a task in the Immortal Mist sect for a week now, but unfortunately, no one had taken it up yet. Apparently, the airless grass wasn't that easy to find. But he wasn't in a hurry, he was prepared for a long-haul fight. As long as he could find the airless grass in the next few years, that would be sufficient. After all, there wouldn't be any major issues in the Immortal Mist sect for a short period of time, hence he wouldn't need to run away. My dear, why are you up so early? Get some more sleep. Muzi seemed to wake up, saw Zhou Sui, and said coquettishly. She stretched her body lazily, revealing her attractive figure, which was simply mouth-watering. After advancing to the Foundation Establishment realm, her body had apparently gained further enhancements, becoming even more perfect. She was, in essence, like a fairy from the sect. Every movement she made exuded infinite charm. You little temptation. Zhou Sui smiled, about to say something more. Whoosh! At that moment, the communication talisman on Zhou Sui's body suddenly activated, bringing a message. I have news on the airless grass. Come to Pill Medicine Peak quickly. It was a message from the Peak Master Ma Qianjun. What? They found it so quickly. Impressive, as expected of the Immortal Mist sect. Seeing the message, Zhou Sui was instantly joyous. He never expected to find airless grass in just a week. Only a golden core sect with such profound resources could achieve this. If he were on his own, no matter what, he would probably not be able to find the airless grass. Rest for a while, I have to go to the Pill Medicine Peak. Zhou Sui immediately switched to a serious mode. As gratifying as he found his Tao companion, the task at hand was even more critical. Zhou Sui considered the airless grass vital for his future plans and couldn't afford any mistakes. Whiz! With that thought, Zhou Sui didn't hesitate. His figure flashed and he flew towards the Pill Medicine Peak. He left behind several beautiful Tao companions with lingering charm on their faces. At this point, Ma Qianjun had already been waiting for a while at the Pill Medicine Peak. Next to Ma Qianjun was a disciple at the 9th layer of Qi cultivation who had a simple and honest appearance. He even seemed a bit naive, the kind of person who would be lost in a crowd. Who is this? Seeing the stranger, Zhou Sui asked curiously. Oh, he's my disciple Yu Renai. He brought the news about the airless grass. Ma Qianjun introduced him. So you're cultivator Yu? Zhou Sui nodded. No, Elder Zhou, you can just call me little Yu. Yu Renai said anxiously. After all, he was just a cultivator at the Qi cultivation stage, and the other party was already an elder of the Foundation Establishment realm. Whether it was status or power, they weren't on the same level. The other party could be humble and low-key, but he couldn't fail to appreciate this kindness. Where is the airless grass? Zhou Sui, not caring for unnecessary pleasantries, asked directly. Elder Zhou, the airless grass is not with me. In fact, it was obtained by a loose cultivator who is a close friend of mine. But he does not trust us sect cultivators, so he wants to trade face to face with the elder. Of course, the trade cannot be conducted in the Immortal Mist sect, he wants it to be done in the Rosy Cloud Forest nearby. Urinai instantly replied. The so-called Rosy Cloud Forest was a vast forest that stretched for thousands of miles near the Immortal Mist sect. It had complicated terrain with numerous hills, and it was almost impossible to trace someone once they entered deep into the forest. The deep parts of the forest were also inhabited by numerous demons and beasts, making it quite dangerous. Of course, it was nothing compared to the Cloud Mist mountain range. He wants to trade outside the sect. Zhou Sui narrowed his eyes instinctively, sensing something wasn't right. If the transaction was to be conducted inside the Immortal Mist sect, there wouldn't be any problem, as his safety would be assured. But if it was to be done outside the sect, that would be a big problem. Who knew whether the other party in the transaction was human or ghost? If it was a trap, then he would be in serious trouble. Does Elder Zhou find this troublesome? If you find it inappropriate, Elder Zhou, I can refuse him. Indeed, it is a bit too much to ask Elder Zhou to go out into the wilderness for a trade. Urinai said with a sincere look on his face. No, it's not too much. I was once a loose cultivator too, so I fully understand their concerns. Since the other party wants to trade in the Rosy Cloud Forest, let's just go. Zhou Sui's eyes flashed for a moment, then he chuckled softly, agreeing to the other party's request. Honestly, he was indeed suspicious of Urinai's intentions. The moment he thought about getting the airless grass, someone presented it on a platter. Such a coincidence was hard to believe. But he had nothing to fear. After all, he had ascended to the early stage of the Foundation establishment realm, and his cultivation had improved many times compared to before. If his enemies really wanted to ambush him, they would be simply courting death. Unless it was a Golden Core Master, he could possibly succeed. But the issue was, where could a Golden Core Master easily make a move? Even if he did, he wouldn't dare to come near the Immortal Mist sect. Moreover, what was more important was that he would not use his real body for this trade. He planned to use a clone. Even if something went wrong, it would just mean the loss of one clone. The reason for choosing to take a risk was because the airless grass was too important. If he missed this opportunity, he didn't know when he would get another. If the enemy was using bait, they wouldn't blame him for swallowing it along with the hook. Swallow the sugar coating of the sugar-coated bullet and throw the bullet back. When would Elder Zhou be available? I can notify my close friend. Urinai asked. Well, around noon, I need to prepare a bit first. Zhou Sui, of course, couldn't just go now, he certainly needed to make some preparations. Chapter 174, Ambushing and Killing Ghost Demon Sect Foundation Establishment, Second Stage Goo Insects Army. Rosy Cloud Forest, a certain valley. 4 foundation building cultivators laid in ambush here, 3 in the early stages of foundation establishment and 1 in the middle stage. They were all elders from the Ghost Demon Sect, ordered to trap Zhou Sui. The leading foundation building cultivator, in the mid-stage, was named Kong Yuan, a notoriously powerful demon cultivator. Brother Kong, do you think the boy will fall for the trap? One of the initial stage foundation building cultivators dressed in black asked. It's unclear, he'll only fall for it if he places high importance on the airless grass. If the airless grass is indispensable to him, he will definitely come and negotiate with us. If he doesn't care about the airless grass, he might not even show up. Foundation building cultivator Kong Yuan solemnly said. If the boy doesn't show up, wouldn't we be wasting our time? A yellow-robed cultivator frowned. After all, his time was precious, he didn't want to waste it on this matter. If he were really that idle, he'd rather cultivate in isolation, boosting his inner mana. There's no easy way around it, plans never go as smoothly as imagined. Failure is a common occurrence. But if we succeed just once, we will hit the jackpot. I believe you all understand the lavish rewards the sect master will bestow upon us if we can kill that boy. Kong Yuan smiled faintly. Indeed. 3 early-stage foundation building cultivators nodded in unison. If not for the sect master's rewards, they would not have braved the risk and traveled all the way here. He's here. The lad has actually followed you, Renai, I hear. And he brought no one with him, it seems he came alone. At this time, a black-robed cultivator received a message from his communication talisman and exclaimed excitedly. No way, the boy's audacious enough to venture here alone. Presumably, having ascended to the initial stage of foundation building and feeling confident in his superior abilities, he dared to act as such. Indeed, it's just a trade with a chi practitioner. If he brought backup, it would be too ridiculous. I don't think he suspects that 4 foundation building cultivators are lurking in the shadows. We're in luck, it's beyond belief that things are proceeding this smoothly. Seems we'll swiftly fulfill our mission for the sect. The 3 Ghost Demon Sect foundation building cultivators laughed heartily, filled with joy. They felt that things were going too smoothly. Honestly, they had previously prepared numerous contingency plans for this operation. But now, none of them seemed necessary. Unexpectedly, the pretty boy Zhou Sui had fallen so easily into their trap, following their mole and leaving the Immortal Mist sect. The operation was proceeding smoother than they could imagine. Something's not right, abort the mission, break off contact with the target. At this moment, Kong Yuan's face was solemn and gloomy, beset by unease and a sense of dread. Brother Kong, what are you talking about? We're about to meet the boy and now you choose to back off, are you out of your mind? The other 3 initial stage foundation building demon cultivators were taken aback, looking at Kong Yuan in disbelief, unable to comprehend his thought process. Fools! Kong Yuan cursed, you don't understand a thing. The boy is a loose cultivator, which means he's cautious by nature. There's no way he'd follow a stranger to an unfamiliar trading spot so easily. Without absolute confidence, he wouldn't act so recklessly. It's possible he has that golden core master Lang Yuexi with him to trap us all. That's too far-fetched. Yes, it's a golden core master we're talking about. Could he possibly be at the beck and call of the young pretty boy? You're making a mountain out of a molehill. Exactly, I observed our surroundings just now, and apart from the boy, indeed no other Immortal Mist sect cultivators are present. He seems to have come alone. You're just making a fuss out of nothing. Now that we're this close, we can't possibly retreat, can we? The few foundation building demon cultivators were discontent, thinking that Kong Yuan was paranoid and overly timid. I don't care about your opinions, but I'm pulling out of this mission. Kong Yuan was eager to withdraw, unperturbed by the others' thoughts. The strong sense of impending crisis was due to him practicing a technique to ward off danger. Whenever in danger, a strong sense of impending peril would manifest. With this intuition, he had evaded countless brushes with death. The same alarming foreboding intensified this time. Thus, he was restless, even regretful of accepting the mission. Interesting, he can sense danger. This makes escaping all the more impossible for you. At this moment, a voice suddenly echoed through the valley. The voice belonged to Zhou Sui. Upon learning of the trading location, Zhou Sui dispatched a clone into the rosy cloud forest for a thorough search. Ever since ascending to the initial stage of the foundation building realm, he'd been cultivating 18 clones. Having the combined search power of 18 clones over the surrounding forest, he immediately sensed the presence of the 4 foundation building demon cultivators. Subsequently, one of his clones led the goo insect army into the valley for attack. Rumble. As the voice emerged, the power of the Dream Soul Goo burst forth. Technique Nightmare. The Dream Soul Goo had advanced to the mid-class of second stage, its power was more than 10 times greater than before. If coupled with Zhou Sui's powerful soul power, it could easily affect even a late-stage foundation building cultivator. Let alone the initial and mid-stage foundation building cultivators. Hum. In an instant, Kong Yuan and the other 4 ghost demon sect cultivators felt dazed and disoriented as if an invisible force had pulled their souls into the nightmare world. It felt as though entering a profound dreamland. They wouldn't easily awaken, even if attacked in reality. Damn it! Kong Yuan felt his hair stand on end. As a mid-stage foundation building cultivator, he possessed a middle-grade spiritual artifact for soul defense, the Evil Spirit Accessories, which was capable of resisting powerful illusion techniques. So unlike other early foundation building cultivators, he wasn't pulled into a dreamland. Nevertheless, he couldn't help but feel dazed. It felt as though someone had smacked him over the head with a hammer, causing a wave of dizziness and inducing severe vertigo as if he was about to faint. Hum. But at this moment, 100 gold-eating bugs suddenly appeared midair. They fluttered their wings and encircled the area, showing off their menacing teeth and sharp claws, with an aura of dark golden light enwrapping them, radiating ferocious energy. Those were second-stage gold-eating bugs. Chapter 175, Fortune-handing boy, thank you for the gift from Ghost Demon Sect. Damn it, I'm going all out. Kang Yuan was both shocked and enraged. He hadn't even discovered the location of the enemy that was using a soul attack on him yet, and now he had run into a swarm of terrifyingly ferocious bugs, putting him in a matter of life and death almost instantly. Surrounded by a terrifying intent to kill, it was as if he was in the midst of an ambush at all sides. No matter which direction he tried to break through, he would be attacked by the enemy. He was, indeed, in a desperate situation. Right now, he regretted so deeply that his intestines were turning green. If he had known that Zhou Sui was so well hidden, he would rather die than accept this task. But it's too late for anything now, there is no pill for regret in this world. Swish! The next second, he pulled out a middle-grade spiritual artifact, the Blood Demon Knife, from his body. A terrifying demonic chi erupted, directed towards the sky, enveloping an area of several miles around him. Kang Yuan's face was fierce as he channeled the vast mana within him furiously, which instantly evoked a terrifying blood-colored blade light, slashing towards the swarm of gold-eating bugs. The power of this strike was incredibly horrifying, enough to slice a small hill into two. Vaguely, cries and howls like ghosts and wolves rang out mid-air, countless wronged souls seemed to be screaming, which sent shivers down the spine. The terrifying power of the blood-colored blade light was infinite, it could penetrate through anything. An ordinary Foundation establishment cultivator, if hit by this knife, would be slashed into two instantly and perished. At this moment, hundreds of gold-eating bugs lunged towards him, emitting golden lights from their bodies, forming a golden barrier that appeared like a turtle shell, with mysterious golden runes surfacing on it, amalgamating as a whole. Thud! In what seemed like slow motion but happened quickly, Kang Yuan's solid knife strike landed on this golden barrier, resulting in a clanging sound. Sparks flying around, it felt like he was slashing on steel. However, that was it, the middle-grade spiritual artifact, Blood Demon Knife, could not progress even an inch further. Clearly, the defense of the gold-eating bugs, which had advanced to the second stage, had also multiplied several times. Even when faced with a powerful attack from a mid-stage Foundation establishment cultivator, they could easily resist it. How is this possible? Seeing this scene, Kang Yuan couldn't believe his eyes. His all-out attack, slashing on this swarm of strange bugs, did absolutely no damage. Instead, these insects effortlessly blocked his blade. Not only did these bugs not retreat, but they also charged towards him even more ferociously. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have believed it. You must know that if he were facing a same-level Foundation establishment cultivator, his attack could make the opponent retreat in fear. Even a late-stage Foundation establishment cultivator would dodge its edge and dare not face it directly. Boom! Before he had time to figure out how to counterattack, the gold-eating bugs had become furious. His attack had utterly provoked them, stirring up their ferocity so much so that their fierce chi exploded, becoming incredibly rampant. Hum hum! At this moment, these gold-eating bugs erupted with golden sword lights, charging towards him with lightning speed. Their incredible speed produced a succession of sonic booms. Such sword lights stirred an endless storm, slicing through the air and forming wind blades. Ability Armor Break. Just like sword lights produced by sword cultivators, they encompassed a terrifying power that could break through anything. Thud! Just one strike, and his defensive spiritual artifact was shattered instantly, ruptured like tofu. His body was full of holes like a honeycomb. A large amount of blood flowed out, making a rumbling sound. The ground was completely stained red with his blood. This! Kang Yuan's eyes widened, his heart filled with horror, as he could feel his life force swiftly ebbing away. He felt his demise came too quickly, he didn't even see his enemy's face. To think he would die so miserably in this place. Of course, it wasn't just him that died. Even his three companions in the early Foundation establishment stage were penetrated by the gold-eating bugs the moment they were drawn into the nightmare world. Their bodies exploded into pieces. When they died, they had no idea what had happened. Each of them fell to the ground, their eyes wide open even in death. A moment later, a figure appeared in the valley. This was one of Zhou Sui's clones. He quietly observed the long-dead Kang Yuan and the others. Now, he no longer feared they were just playing dead. After all, he was just a clone. Even if he was ambushed, it wouldn't harm the original body in the slightest. As expected, the dream soul goo and gold-eating bug become stronger after advancing to the second stage. Even when encountering 4 foundation establishment cultivators, they can kill instantly. Zhou Sui was very satisfied. He had merely tested them out. Facing 3 foundation establishment early stage cultivators and 1 middle stage cultivator was as easy as slicing through a melon. Although he did have the advantage of a sneak attack, he had to admit that the power displayed by the goo insects at the second stage was beyond imagination. It was not something ordinary foundation establishment cultivators could compare to. Obviously, his current fighting power was definitely not weak among many foundation establishment cultivators. Soul Search. At Zhou Sui's thought, the dream soul goo immediately devoured the souls of the 4 dead foundation establishment cultivators. The dream soul goo was exhilarated, sensing the soul energy within it increasing, and the space in the dreamland expanding. It seemed to have created 4 more dream bubbles and massive amounts of memories surged in like a tidal wave. He now understood the whole story and knew exactly who was plotting against him. Ghost Demon Sect? The demonic sect again. This has been the 3rd or 4th time, they're still sending people after me. A cold glint appeared in Zhou Sui's eyes. He had found out who was targeting him. Clearly, Luo Hua, the sect master of the Ghost Demon Sect, could not accept his defeat and wanted revenge all the time. As he could not kill Lang Yuexi, he wanted to destroy him instead. The proverb goes that you should pick on the weak, and he was the chosen soft target. Fortunately, he was always cautious and never risked his life. Otherwise, he could have really fallen into the Ghost Demon Sect's trap. And now, times have changed. Unless Luo Hua, the sect master of the Ghost Demon Sect, takes action himself, it's a fool's dream for ordinary foundation establishment cultivators to take him down. It's not really a bad thing. To lure me out of the sect, they actually took out the airless grass from the treasure trove of the Ghost Demon Sect. They really splurged. If it weren't for the Ghost Demon Sect, I wouldn't know when I could get the airless grass. From this perspective, I should be grateful for the Ghost Demon Sect's generosity. Zhou Sui stroked his chin. He sensed that there was indeed an airless grass in the storage bags of the 4 foundation establishment cultivators. It was exactly the material he needed. With this airless grass, he could refine the teleportation insect. That would greatly ensure his safety in the future. So, he should be grateful for the Ghost Demon Sect's actions, as they saved him a lot of time looking for the airless grass. Finding such a special spiritual medicine isn't simple after all. Chapter 176, Who dares to retaliate when I have the Immortal Mist sect on my side? Elder Zhou, my dear friend is just ahead in the valley. At this point, Yu Renai's voice came over, leading another clone of Zhou Sui into the valley. Soon, he saw another Zhou Sui standing not far away, immediately dumbstruck. What's going on? How can there be a second Elder Zhou here? He was completely baffled, hardly daring to trust his own eyes. That 2 Zhou Suis should exist in this world was really too strange to believe. He had no idea what was happening. Dear friend? Are you referring to these Ghost Demon Sect's Foundation establishment elders? Both clones looked at Yu Renai with a smile yet not a smile. What? Upon hearing this, Yu Renai's face drastically changed, turned ashen. He too saw the 4 bodies lying on the ground. They were indeed the 4 foundation establishment elders of the Ghost Demon Sect. He never imagined that something like this would happen. After all, his original mission was to bring Zhou Sui here to be ambushed. Of course, after this matter is exposed, he can no longer remain in the Immortal Mist sect. So he made preparations in advance to escape, leaving the domain of the Immortal Mist sect once and for all. But now, these 4 elders of the Ghost Demon Sect died tragically here, even their bodies were not left intact. Obviously, the Ghost Demon Sect's plan was a complete failure. His motives had been perceived by Zhou Sui. From the very beginning, this naive man had been playing with him. Elder Zhou, it was a misunderstanding, a misunderstanding. Yu Renai shouted, wanting to say something else. Thump. The next second, an invisible wave of mana crushed down, and his whole body instantly shattered into pieces. It was as if he had been killed instantly by an invisible force. He did not even have the ability to struggle and tragically died on the spot. Compared to a foundation establishment cultivator, his cultivator of Qi cultivation stage was just worthless. He was absolutely incapable of resisting. With just one move, he was killed instantly. Zhou Sui despised wasting words with Yu Renai. He had betrayed himself and was a spy of the Ghost Demon Sect, and yet he still wanted to beg for leniency. Was he trying to make Zhou Sui a fool? Therefore, he directly killed this kid with a single palm strike without uttering a word. When you're out and about, you always have to pay your debts. Take the heads of these 5 men back. Zhou Sui waved his hand and immediately took away the heads of these 5 men. This time he didn't intend to eradicate their remains. Previously, he had done so because he was weak and feared revenge from his enemies, thus he felt the need to destroy all traces. But now, he has the backing of the Golden Core sect, the Immortal Mist sect. Moreover, his Dao companion Lang Yuexi is a Golden Core master. How could he possibly fear revenge from his enemies? On the contrary, the Ghost Demon sect should fear his revenge. It could be said that the roles have reversed. He casually took away their storage bags without worry about any trace left for tracking. After all, he stayed in the headquarters of the Immortal Mist sect. Even if the enemy knew where he was, would they dare to attack the Immortal Mist sect? That's the benefit of having a big influence in support. It's not necessary to be as cautious as a loose cultivator, but the enemy needs to tread carefully. They have to worry about being retaliated against. Whoosh! Before long, Zhou Sui returned to the Immortal Mist sect's Pill Medicine Peak once again. Of course, the other clone left with the goo insect and hid in the nearby mountains. Friend Zhou, you're back so soon. Was the transaction successful? Strange, where is my disciple Yu Renai? Why didn't he come back with you? Peak Master Ma Qianjun of Pill Medicine Peak asked curiously. He's already dead. Zhou Sui waved his hand, immediately placing the 5 heads on the ground. They rolled around, covered in blood. What? Upon hearing this, the elders of the Pill Medicine Peak turned pale, their eyes fixated on the 5 heads scattered on the ground. Damn it, isn't that Kong Yuan, the Foundation Establishment Elder from the Ghost Demon Sect? It's not just Kong Yuan, this is Zheng He, Lu Zhao, Zhao Ziyi, all Foundation Establishment Elders from the Ghost Demon Sect. They were the ones who killed many of our Immortal Mist Sect disciples in the previous battle, forming a deep blood feud. But now they are dead, with only their heads remaining. The elders of Pill Medicine Peak looked at Zhou Sui incredulously. Aside from Qi cultivation stage disciple Yu Renai, they instantly recognized the identities and backgrounds of the other 4. After all, the Immortal Mist Sect and the Ghost Demon Sect had been at war for many years, deploying their elites on both sides. Almost every Foundation Establishment Elder was well known to both parties. They could recognize them even if they turned to ashes. Friend Zhou, was this exchange a trap? Peak Master Ma Qianjun of Pill Medicine Peak turned pale, he was not a fool and quickly grasped the situation. His disciple's death, the death of the Foundation Establishment Elders of the Ghost Demon Sect, Zhou Sui who is the sect master's spouse. The combination of these characters only spells grave troubles. Which also indicated a massive conspiracy. Yes. Zhou Sui nodded, that disciple of yours, Yu Renai, is a traitor of the Ghost Demon Sect, using the airless grass as bait to lure me out of the sect, and also sent 4 Foundation Establishment Elders to ambush me. Lucky for me I had a 3rd stage talisman gifted by Yuexi, along with dozens of 2nd stage top-grade talismans. I struck in their moment of unpreparedness, thus successfully counter-attacking, otherwise I would have fallen into their trap. He briefly explained the process of his counter-attack. Attributing his ability to counter-kill these Foundation Establishment Elders to the 3rd stage talisman. After all, a talisman is one of the treasures capable of overcoming overwhelming odds. Especially a 3rd stage talisman, its power is comparable to that of a Golden Core Master's strike, it is extremely precious. Such a treasured weapon cannot be purchased no matter how much money one has. There were only a handful of 3rd stage talisman masters on the entire Immortal Mist Island. Anyway, he was not afraid of them interrogating him, after all, who would dare to question the sect master's spouse? Isn't that asking for death? This. Many Pill Medicine Peak elders looked at Kong Yuan and other Foundation Establishment Elders of the Ghost Demon Sect with sympathy. These poor guys have unjustly lost their lives by provoking the sect master's spouse. Isn't that asking for death? Even possessing a 3rd stage talisman. It could be imagined just how much favor this pretty boy has received from the sect master. The talismans were doled out like they were free of cost. If ordinary Foundation Establishment cultivators dared to fight with Zhou Sui, it would be pure suicide. Friend Zhou, I'm really sorry. This time it's our Pill Medicine Peak's fault for not handling matters properly, resulting in the emergence of a Ghost Demon Sect traitor. If not for friend Zhou's great luck, he would probably have not been able to evade this calamity. I will give friend Zhou an explanation. Here are 10 bottles of water source pills, as a gift from our pill medicine peak, I hope you won't hold a grudge. Peak Master Ma Qianjun of Pill Medicine Peak feel painfully squeezing out 10 bottles of water source pills from himself. He had no other choice. After all, Pill Medicine Peak has produced a ghost demon sect traitor. This is a serious matter. If Zhou Sui had died this time, he would certainly face severe punishment. He may even face the rage of Lang Yuexi, thus ending his chances of ever raising his head again. Even now, with Zhou Sui unharmed, he needed to pacify Zhou Sui's anger. Otherwise, he would be in deep trouble. So he had to take out 10 bottles of water source pills to silence Zhou Sui. Well, in that case, I'll leave this matter to you. Hopefully, no traitors will emerge from your pill medicine peak in the future. Zhou Sui was very satisfied because these water source pills were very valuable, they are second stage pills. The value of which was not inferior to the red fire pill and etherwood pill he had obtained before. Now the other party had given out 10 bottles, which was indeed a significant loss for them. So naturally, he could not continue to haggle over it. Having said these words, he turned and left, and returned to the Immortal Mist Peak. Chapter 177, Refining the Teleportation Insect, Teleporting Thousands of Miles. At this moment, Immortal Mist Peak. What? Master, you were just attacked by the foundation building elder of the ghost demon sect. Lang Yuexi, Ji Binjiu, Mu Ziyi, and Xia Jinjian were all taken aback. They had just heard Zhou Sui tell them what had happened, and they were deeply shocked, their faces showing a worried expression. Don't worry, it was just my clone that went out. My actual body is still here on Immortal Mist Peak. Even if something unexpected did happen, it would have meant nothing more than losing a clone. Zhou Sui waved his hand dismissively. Just a clone? Well, that's a relief. Upon hearing this, Ji Binjiu and the others breathed a sigh of relief. They, of course, knew that their master, Zhou Sui, was proficient in the art of the avatar skill, and his clones could be almost indistinguishable from his real body. Previously, he had often used his clones to move about Misty Cloud City, selling spiritual wine, gathering information, and so on. But the ghost demon sect is really too despicable. Didn't they agree to a truce with the Immortal Mist sect? Now, they've actually sent a foundation building elder to ambush Master. What on earth are they up to? Mu Ziyi was very angry. I'm afraid this has something to do with me. Because I intervened, the ghost demon sect's many-year plan was ruined. This caused the ghost demon sect's plan to fall apart. Unable to deal with me, they turned to trouble Master. Lang Yuexi looked at Zhou Sui with deep regret. If it wasn't for her, the ghost demon sect wouldn't have gone to such great lengths to target her master, Zhou Sui. Luckily, Master Zhou Sui was capable, otherwise, he could have been severely injured. Yuexi, you don't need to apologize. This is not your fault. It is the fault of the ghost demon sect. It's unreasonable to blame you instead of holding the ghost demon sect, the real instigator, responsible. Zhou Sui said solemnly. Thank you, Master. After hearing this, Lang Yuexi felt deeply grateful. Her master was truly a sensible and reasonable person. However, her beautiful eyes soon revealed a cold gleam. The ghost demon sect does need to be taught a lesson. They dare to lay hands on the people around me, they're practically asking for death. Are you planning to strike against the ghost demon sect? Zhou Sui asked. Yes. But I'm not attacking the ghost demon sect headquarters. After all, their headquarters are protected by a third stage array, and with the strength we possess now, it's hard to break in. However, they still hold many markets, cities, mines, etc. We can try to seize those. After all, if they're holed up in their headquarters, these things won't have any protection. What's more, the ghost demon sect has lost 4 of their foundation building elders. Their strength is greatly diminished. If we don't strike while the ghost demon sect is weak, when will we? Lang Yuexi clenched her fists, a deadly aura enveloping her. If her master was attacked and she did nothing, then she wouldn't be Lang Yuexi. Even if she couldn't wipe out the ghost demon sect, she would make sure they paid a heavy price. Alright, then I'll leave this matter to you. But remember to be careful and not to fall into the ghost demon sect's trap. Zhou Sui reminded. Revenge was indeed necessary, but if Lang Yuexi were to be harmed in the process, then it would not be worth it at all. Revenge is a dish best served cold, they say. As long as he became a golden core master, the ghost demon sect would eventually meet their end. There was no need to rush. Don't worry, Master. Lang Yuexi bobbed her head slightly. Of course, the news of Zhou Sui being assassinated by a foundation-building cultivator from the ghost demon sect spread rapidly within the Immortal Mist sect. After all, having the sect master's deist partner attacked was unprecedented, and not a matter to be taken lightly. If mishandled, it could spark a war between the two major sects. However, Zhou Sui didn't bother himself with the matter, knowing it was more than enough to leave it to his deist partner, Lang Yuexi. For him, the most important thing was to continue his cultivation, to improve his own power. That night, in a quiet chamber. Let's begin. Zhou Sui was sitting cross-legged on the mat, throwing the airless grass and many other supplementary ingredients into the goo divine bowl. Swoosh! Immediately, a stream of grey energy appeared and swiftly refined these ingredients. In just an instant, the airless grass and other ingredients were melted down, transforming into strands of pure energy. Who knows how much time had passed? An ethereal goo insect was born, its body radiating a mysterious aura as if blended into the void. A multitude of dense, transparent runes appeared on its body. Teleportation insect, it's finally done. Witnessing the birth of this goo insect, Zhou Sui's eyes sparkled with intense light, brimming with excitement. He could sense a huge wave of information sinking deep into his sea of consciousness. Teleportation insect, a heavenly earthly wondrous insect born from the void, contains unique spatial energy that can teleport the host and numerous living beings instantly without considering any terrain. In a flash, Zhou Sui understood all kinds of information and capabilities related to the teleportation insect. It had two kinds of teleportation abilities. One was short-distance teleportation, where it could teleport within 100 meters and could do this many times, up to 100. The other was long-distance teleportation, which was limited to 1 or 2 times. However, each teleport could cover thousands, even tens of thousands, of miles. Without a doubt, such power was overpowering. At a critical moment, it could save a life. After all, even a Golden Core Master wouldn't have this kind of teleportation ability. A first-stage teleportation insect can accumulate 1 mile of spatial energy per day, with 1,000 miles being the limit, and it can only be used for a single teleportation. After using it once, it needs to accumulate again. A second-stage teleportation insect can accumulate 10 miles of spatial energy per day, with 10,000 miles being the limit. It can accumulate 10 rounds of teleportation, but after that, it cannot accumulate any more unless it uses those rounds, then it can accumulate again. Zhou Sui squinted his eyes. Clearly, if the teleportation insect reached the second stage, it could accumulate 3,650 miles of spatial energy in a year. In 3 years, it could accumulate 10,000 miles. In 30 years, it could accumulate 300,000 miles. 10 teleportations in total. Excellent. Zhou Sui was delighted beyond measure. Without a doubt, the appearance of the teleportation insect provided him with an extremely powerful safeguard for his life. If the Immortal Mist sect were to face any problems or even risk being annihilated, he could use the power of the teleportation insect to bring his wives and concubines to safety, teleporting tens of thousands of miles away. And if he could teleport 10 times, they could cover 100,000 miles. With such an astonishing distance, even if pursued by a nascent soul ancestor, he could escape easily. Of course, not that the Immortal Mist sect would necessarily face any problems. This was just Zhou Sui being prepared for a rainy day. If there were no crisis, then all the better. If a crisis did arise, he could always run away and wouldn't be cornered without a backup plan. Just as he did before in Misty Cloud City, where he had prepared a bunker ahead of time. If he didn't have such precautions, he would have died at the hands of the ghost demon sect long ago. Chapter 178, Harvesting 50,000 middle-grade spirit stones, refining etherwood pill. Oh yes, there are also the storage bags of those 4 foundation establishment cultivators. At this moment, Zhou Sui also took out 4 or 5 storage bags from his possession, one of which belonged to a cultivator in the Qi cultivation stage, but it was essentially insignificant. He swept his divine sense lightly across them, simultaneously using the heart eye recognition. Instantly, a massive amount of information flowed into the depths of his sea of consciousness. Information on spiritual stones, spiritual medicines, magic artifacts, spiritual energy, pills, and many other treasures were all presented before his eyes. They really are a group of poor devils. Zhou Sui blinked his eyes, quite speechless. He had initially thought that he could find some unique treasures, but it turned out to be nothing more than common resources. Nothing really caught his Dharma eye. However, even so, the treasures in these 5 storage bags combined were worth 40,000 middle-grade spiritual stones. This was actually quite a considerable fortune for a foundation establishment cultivator. 40,000 middle-grade spiritual stones could be used to buy a mass of second-stage pills, which could quickly enhance the cultivation of a foundation establishment cultivator. Moreover, there was also the addition of the airless grass, which was worth 10,000 middle-grade spiritual stones. In total, he had earned 50,000 middle-grade spiritual stones, which could be considered a windfall. Never mind, I should continue cultivating and enhance my mana. Zhou Sui put these storage bags aside and sat cross-legged on the ground. He took out a bottle of etherwood pill and immediately swallowed one. Rushing sound. He operated the Insect God Sutra to quickly refine this etherwood pill, which then transformed into a massive amount of energy. The energy of the etherwood pill was incredibly gentle, flowing through each of his meridians, continuously strengthening his body. At this moment, the mana in his body was increasing bit by bit. It's too slow. Zhou Sui sighed inwardly. Even with the aid of the second stage etherwood pill, he still needed at least a month to condense 1 drop of mana liquid. Thus, one can imagine how slow the process of condensing mana was. If there were no second stage pills to assist him, he would probably need half a year to condense a drop of mana liquid. According to his current cultivation speed, he would likely need hundreds of years, dedicated to bitter cultivation, to make the progress necessary to reach the complete foundation establishment stage. It should be noted that his spiritual root had reached the 6th stage level, equivalent to a mid-grade spiritual root. Yet, it was still slow, like a snail. If a regular 6th stage spiritual root foundation establishment cultivator, he would probably never advance to the complete foundation establishment stage or form a core, even if he exhausted his lifespan. Most likely, he would remain in the early stage of foundation establishment for the rest of his life. The higher the realm, the more important the cultivation aptitude becomes. A lower grade spiritual root, with some stroke of luck, can also become a foundation establishment cultivator. But, dreaming of becoming a golden core master is just wishful thinking. The mere speed of condensing mana liquid is enough to cause despair in cultivators with lower and mid-grade spiritual roots. Only cultivators with an upper-grade spiritual root can hope to reach the complete foundation establishment stage before their 200th birthday. This way, they have a chance to advance to the golden core. Zhou Sui's eyes flickered. He recognized the importance of one's spiritual root aptitude. Especially when cultivating the foundation establishment, let alone the golden core, a year's worth of cultivation for mid-grade spiritual root cultivators is equivalent to just a month for those with an upper-grade spiritual root. The difference in efficiency is staggering. Over time, the gap becomes even larger. Fortunately, he had the help of the Obsession Gu and the assistance of his Dao companions. It won't be long before his spiritual root aptitude improves further. Once his spiritual root is promoted to the 5th grade, his cultivation efficiency will certainly see a huge increase. Thinking of this, Zhou Sui disregarded such matters and continued to cultivate assiduously, digesting the medicinal power of the etherwood pill. Meanwhile, numerous foundation establishment elders of the Immortal Mist sect had gathered together. They too had heard the shocking news of Zhou Sui being ambushed by a foundation establishment elder of the Ghost Demon sect. Who would have thought that sect master Luo Hua of the Ghost Demon sect would have such a strong desire for revenge? He even sent 4 of his own foundation establishment elders to personally deal with our sect master's companion. What a grand move! Unfortunately, the sect master of the Ghost Demon sect underestimated the affection our sect master has for that pretty boy. He even gave him a 3rd stage talisman. He truly couldn't bear to see that pretty boy die. All we can say is, that kid has indeed earned the favor of our sect master. He's really a lucky guy. If it weren't for the sect master's help, this kid would probably never be able to establish a foundation in this lifetime. However, now that the Ghost Demon sect has lost 4 foundation establishment elders, their strength has significantly reduced. This indeed is a great opportunity for us. One we can seize to take over a lot of their markets and mines and make a huge profit. Honestly though, this really is a trivial matter. The more pressing issue is the sudden appearance of that nascent soul cave mansion. That's what truly matters for our Dao journey. Several Immortal Mist sect foundation establishment elders were abuzz with discussions. The main reason for their gathering this time was not Zhou Sui, but the nascent soul cave mansion that had suddenly appeared within Immortal Mist sect territory. The appearance of this nascent soul cave mansion has attracted the attention of many golden core powers immediately. Tisk tisk, this nascent soul cave mansion once belonged to the renowned blood shadow ancestor from 3,000 years ago. It's said he slaughtered many powers of that era and plundered a great number of treasures. No one knows how many secrets lie within. There might even be some core formation and possibly nascent soul artifacts. Master Shueqi of the Reward and Punishment Hall murmured. Impossible, right? Isn't that a bit too exaggerated? If there really are nascent soul artifacts, even nascent soul powers will likely be attracted. Can we, the Immortal Mist sect, even withstand that? Peak Master Ma Qianjun of Pill Medicine Peak voiced his worries. He felt that this sudden appearance of the nascent soul cave mansion might not necessarily be a good thing, but rather, could bring about a massive calamity for the Immortal Mist sect. After all, this kind of chance is really too hot to handle. It's not something the current Immortal Mist sect can grasp. If there are indeed nascent soul artifacts in that cave mansion, the nascent soul powers from outside the island will surely swarm in. With the strength of the Immortal Mist sect, we could never resist that. One careless move could result in the annihilation of the sect. It's just a suspicion, it might not be accurate. Moreover, it's been 3,000 years since then. If there aren't any proper preservation methods, even nascent soul artifacts would have been eroded by the wind by now. They wouldn't still be around. You don't need to be so overly worried. Master Chonglei of Golden Talisman Peak said somberly. He didn't think there could be any nascent soul artifacts in that cave mansion. Because even for a nascent soul ancestor, finding a nascent soul artifact is not that simple. They can be considered artifacts of immense value. Not even the blood shadow ancestor of the past could necessarily get one. Even if there are no nascent soul artifacts, there could still be core formation artifacts. After all, this is the cave mansion of a nascent soul ancestor, who knows what kind of treasures are inside. Regardless, we absolutely can't miss this nascent soul cave mansion. This could be the chance of a lifetime. 100 years is too long, seize every minute. Master Shueqi of the Reward and Punishment Hall clenched his fists. He wouldn't miss this chance no matter what. Chapter 179, 5 years of hard cultivation, condensing the second hard eye insight. In fact, not only the Master of the Reward and Punishment Hall, Shueqi, thought this way, but many late-stage Foundation establishment elders of the Immortal Mist sect did, too. Under normal circumstances, they would have no hope of reaching core formation in their lifetimes. As they grow old and their bodies weaken, the success rate of core formation without assistance wouldn't exceed 10%. But how could they give up after enjoying over 200 years of life, along with all the glory, wealth, and luxury that came with it? If they could truly find some materials for core formation, their chances of success could increase by 20 to 30%. This kind of success rate was astonishing enough for them to take the risk. So no matter how dangerous this nascent soul cave dwelling was, they wouldn't give up. The sect master has already stated that the emergence of this nascent soul cave dwelling has attracted a multitude of golden core powers. At least 20 or 30 golden core masters are eyeing this nascent soul cave dwelling. With the strength of the Immortal Mist sect alone, we can't possibly protect this nascent soul dwelling. So she plans to open up this dwelling and invite other golden core masters to explore it together. Array Peak's master, Yao Wen, said in a deep voice, stating Lang Yuexi's decision. What? 20 or 30 golden core masters? Have all the golden core masters of the entire Immortal Mist Island come here? That's a bit exaggerated, said one of the late-stage Foundation establishment elders, surprised. He knew that the emergence of Blood Shadow's cave dwelling would attract many golden core powers, but he hadn't expected this many golden core masters to show up all at once. That is indeed a bit strange. Normally, news wouldn't spread this quickly. However, the news spread across the Immortal Mist Island in such a short time, it's hard not to suspect someone intentionally disseminated it. But what benefit is there to spreading this news? Why not just hog the nascent soul cave dwelling? Perhaps the sect formation restrictions of the nascent soul dwelling are too hard to crack, so they need the help of many golden core masters. Now that so many golden core masters have taken action, do we, as Foundation establishment cultivators, still have a chance? It's not necessarily hopeless. Though golden core masters are powerful, they also keep each other in check and dare not act rashly. When the time comes, we may have the chance to profit from their fight. Profit from their fight in front of the golden core masters? That's a bit exaggerated. One does not simply walk into wealth, right? The opportunity for core formation is right in front of us. How could we not fight for it? Should we give this opportunity to others? I certainly don't want to give up. Everyone, don't worry. We still have time to prepare. To break this fourth stage formation, it will take years. A large-scale battle won't break out in a short period. The numerous Foundation establishment elders of the Immortal Mist sect were discussing fervently. Obviously, they knew there seemed to be something fishy about the emergence of the Blood Shadows cave dwelling. But faced with the opportunity for core formation, even if they knew something was off, they were unwilling to give up. If they missed this chance, who knew when the next opportunity would come? Of course, this held no attraction for Zhou Sui. He just wanted to cultivate quietly and improve his cultivation level. As for Blood Shadow's cave dwelling, he had no interest at all. Regardless, within the territory of the Immortal Mist sect, a large number of cultivators from all over Immortal Mist Island began to gather. These included Foundation establishment cultivators and even Golden Core cultivators who came from various parts of the island. This made the territory of the Immortal Mist sect more chaotic than ever, with cultivator battles breaking out incessantly. Time passed quickly, and in the blink of an eye, 5 years had passed. At the Immortal Mist sect, on the Immortal Mist Peak, inside a quiet room. At this moment, Zhou Sui was seated cross-legged on the ground, practicing the 7 apertures spirit secret. Although his first hard eye for object recognition had already formed, he did not stop. This secret technique was meant to significantly enhance his soul power. After 5 years of cultivation, he was finally about to successfully cultivate his second hard eye, the eye of perception. This was the hard eye he desired most. Because it could significantly enhance his perceptive abilities, enabling him to easily observe his surroundings. The benefits of this were immeasurable. At this moment, Zhou Sui's soul was immersed in the depths of the sea of consciousness, painstakingly etching the details of the second hard eye. Aided by the power of the bookworm, he was in a state of absolute rationality at this moment, abandoning all distractions. After all, even the slightest negligence would lead to the failure of the formation of the hard eye. At that time, all previous efforts would be wasted, forcing him to start anew. This is why 7 apertures spirit secret is so difficult to cultivate successfully. Either you succeed at once, or you fail, suffering severe damage to your soul. It could be said that one must succeed or perish. Boom boom boom. At this moment, Zhou Sui perceived that the last stroke of the soul pattern had been drawn, as if the last piece of a puzzle, the last part had been found. With a snap, the eye of the heart instantly solidified, forming into a perfect eye. In the depths of his heart, another illusory eye appeared. I succeeded. A joyous smile crept onto Zhou Sui's face. He felt incredibly excited and began manipulating the power of this heart eye. Suddenly, an invisible surge of the strength of heart emanated. 250 zhong, 500 zhong, 700 zhong, 1000 zhong. In the end, the range of the strength of heart expanded to 2500 zhong. This was a terrifying distance. Because even cultivators who had advanced to the early stage of the Golden Core, did not have such a huge range of divine sense exploration. But with the aid of the power of the heart eye, this was achieved effortlessly. Not only that, it wasn't just an extension of the scanning range. More importantly, its power was extremely covert, merged into the void, and the other Foundation establishment cultivators, even the Golden Core masters, were unable to perceive the inspection of the strength of heart. Honestly, this was the formidable part of the heart eye inspection. If it were divine sense exploration, it would have been noticed by other Foundation establishment cultivators. It could even be perceived as offensive, and might lead to conflict with other Foundation establishment cultivators. Interesting. Zhou Sui sat quietly in the chamber, his power of heart eye continuously radiating in all directions. Firstly, it perceived the 4 concubines of Immortal Mist Peak, each immersed in their vigorous cultivation in their respective rooms. Ji Binjia was practicing swordsmanship, Mu Ziyi was drawing symbols, Xia Jinjian was setting up a formation, and Lang Yuexi was diligently cultivating. All 4 concubines were focused and oblivious to the power of the heart eye observing them. As the strength of the heart eye expanded, it covered surrounding mountain peaks. He perceived numerous Immortal Mist sect cultivators practicing on their respective peaks. The cultivators of Reward and Punishment Peak, Pill Medicine Peak, Artifact Refining Peak, Array Peak, and so forth, all appeared within his heart eye. Some were planting spiritual medicines, some were doing alchemy, some were practicing skills, some were absorbing spiritual energy, etc. No matter what they were doing, they could not detect it in the slightest. It felt as if he was overseeing from a higher dimension, embodying an incredibly miraculous power. Incredible! Is this the ability of heart eye inspection? Zhou Sui was also amazed. Although he knew that each heart eye has its own mysterious aspects, the capability of heart eye inspection had exceeded his imagination. It was like having a god's eye view, or a higher dimensional perspective. It was not something an ordinary cultivator could perceive. Chapter 180, 800 years of life, 200,000 pounds of strength. Without a doubt, after cultivating his second heart eye of insight, his ability to handle danger significantly improved. It was nearly impossible for his enemies to assassinate him. Moreover, using the power of his heart eye of insight, he could even clandestinely observe countless cultivators' divine sense conversations. All the secrets of these cultivators were exposed under his heart eye. All the years of hard work, cultivating for 5 years to form the second heart eye, were not in vain. Zhou Sui laughed heartily, feeling very satisfied. He felt that all of this was worth it. One must know, the late Liu family's ancestor tried all possible methods and also failed to condense the second heart eye. He even dared not cultivate it anymore. The consultation of the first heart eye had nearly exhausted all his good luck and opportunity. If he did not have the help of the bookworm, it was quite certain that he would not have been successful in his cultivation. This is simply not a cultivation technique meant for ordinary people. On the other hand, once it is successful, the advantages gained are beyond imagination. Right, let's check the virtual panel first. Thinking of this, Zhou Sui moved his heart and looked at his virtual panel. Host, Zhou Sui, Cultivation, Early Foundation Establishment, Progress 70%, Age, 29, 800. Aptitude, 6th grade Spiritual Root, 71%. Swordsmanship, Lower class of 2nd stage, 40%. Rune, Lower class of 2nd stage, 40%. 7th order formation, Lower class of 2nd stage, 40%. Pill Master, Mid class of 2nd stage, 75%. Phantasma Transformation Skill, Minor Accomplishment, 85%. 5 Elements Alchemy Technique, Great Accomplishment, 75%. 7 Apertures Spirit Secret, Heart Eye Recognition, Heart Eye Insight. Fireball Technique, Grand Master, 70%, Wind Blade Art, Proficient, Golden Light, Proficient, Ice Frost Skill, Proficient, Spring Wind Rain Skill, Proficient, Lightning Summoning Skill, Proficient. Obsession Goo, Lower class of 3rd stage, Clone Goo, Lower class of 2nd stage, Wine Bug, Lower class of 2nd stage, Gold Eating Bug, Lower class of 2nd stage, Bookworm, Lower class of 2nd stage, Dream Soul Goo, Mid class of 2nd stage, Dragon Elephant Goo, Lower class of 2nd stage, Golden Light Thousand Poison Goo, Lower class of 2nd stage, Teleportation Insect, Lower class of 2nd stage. 800 years of life, not bad, not bad. Zhou Sui felt very content. For these 5 years, he had been refined and baptized by the mysterious blood power of Dragon Elephant Goo every month. One could say that his physical fitness improved unabatedly. Now, he had a strength of more than 200,000 catties. Along with an immense rise in his defensive power. It equated to a lower-class defensive spiritual artifact. Ordinary spiritual artifacts launched at him could reduce half of their attack power. If it was a magic artifact attack, his divine skin could easily resist it. It's like being resistant to spears and swords. The most important thing is the increase in his lifespan. It has been raised from 600 to 800 years, an increase of 200 years. If other cultivators knew about this, they might turn green with envy. For other cultivators to increase their lifespan, they basically need to make a major breakthrough. Or they could take longevity spiritual medicine. Yet with the power of the Dragon Elephant Goo, he could extend his lifespan almost every month. From this situation, his lifespan seemed to have not yet met a bottleneck. This suggested that he was evolving towards a non-human direction and gradually breaking away from ordinary beings. However, the process of cultivation was more or less the same, evolving from humans to immortals. In essence, both had congruent differences. However, a cultivator at the initial stage of foundation establishment only reached 70% of the stage. Cultivation is really hard. Zhou Sui glanced at his own cultivation progress. He was still 30% away from the middle stage of foundation establishment. Despite the fact that he had been taking pills continuously for 5 years and dual cultivating with a Taoist couple, his progress was only this much. If he was under normal cultivation, it would usually take 2 or 3 decades to break through to the middle stage of foundation establishment. Some cultivators are stuck at his realm for hundreds of years. This is also quite common. After reaching this realm, a bit of increase in monocultivation required a lot of time and resources. If he continued to cultivate like this, it would probably take 2 to 3 more years to break through to the mid-foundation establishment stage. Of course, his cultivation speed is already astonishingly fast. Even geniuses like Lang Yuexi with first-grade spiritual root took 10 years to break through from the initial stage to the middle stage of foundation establishment. However, the main reason for Zhou Sui's slow cultivation is due to the drag of goo insects. Despite the great power and assistance the goo insects bring to him, they are not without drawbacks. He also needs to help the goo insects evolve. If the goo didn't evolve, he would not break through easily. It's as if Zhou Sui needed to enhance the mana inside him. Those goo insects who advanced to the second stage also needed to enhance their mana to facilitate the evolution. Because of this, Zhou Sui realized this fact and he wouldn't easily refine goo insects currently. Unless the goo insect brought great help to his cultivation, he would refine it. Otherwise, refining a bunch of goo insects not only won't help him but will also drag his cultivation speed down. He did not know when he would be able to make a real breakthrough. It wasn't worth it. The speed of spiritual root evolution has also slowed down. Zhou Sui stroked his chin. He looked at the evolution speed of his spiritual root. After 5 years, it only reached 71%. He still needed 30% progress to genuinely transform to a 5th grade spiritual root. Of course, he expected this. After all, the higher the spiritual root level, the harder it is to evolve. It's a dream to improve the spiritual root aptitude in a short period. However, he is not in a hurry to enhance his spiritual root aptitude. His 6th grade spiritual root was already sufficient. Together with the assistance of pill consumption and dual cultivation with a Taoist couple, his cultivation speed was not inferior to a 3rd grade spiritual root. He believed that after some time, it wouldn't be a big problem to advance to a 5th grade spiritual root. However, the boundary of formations, runes, swordsmanship, and alchemy has seen astounding enhancement. Over these 5 years, I spent most of my time on cultivation of my 100 arts of cultivation besides the 7 apertures spirit secret. It seems that hard work pays, there has been remarkable progress. Zhou Sui was quite satisfied with his improvement in 100 arts of cultivation. Because he knew his cultivation speed had slowed, he spent some time learning 100 arts of cultivation. This had benefited him greatly. The arts of formation, runes, swordsmanship, etc. all progressed to the low class of the 2nd stage. The realm of alchemy had advanced to the mid-class of the 2nd stage. Such a competent level of alchemy mastery was counted as an alchemy master even in the Immortal Mist sect.